Southern California, welcome to the Dino and Nelson Show, Saturday afternoons from 5 to 6 p.m. and Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. on Money Radio 1150 AM KTLK. Do you own a home or have plans to in the future? You'll get all the information you need to know about what's happening in the local real estate market and how to take advantage of that knowledge. How to approach home ownership or mortgage financing with design, vision, and focus, as well as accurate information. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, listen to Real Estate Radio with Dino and Nelson Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m. right here on Money Radio KTLK AM 1150.
Good afternoon, Southern California. This is Dino from the Dino and Nelson Show. This week, a fascinating storyline in today's program to help understand relevant news in today's real estate market.
And this is Nelson. We're studying the Granada Hills and surrounding markets in the Valley with my Real Estate Plaza, and also talking to top agent Patricia Beltran and the owner of my Real Estate Plaza, Jorge Campos, and get their insights on what's taking place in the Valley areas.
I'm wondering if Jorge is going to think you're a gringo when you say Campos.
Well, how do you say it?
I think it's Campos, right?
So, Phil, I mean, what difference is that? Campos and Campos.
Thank you, gringo.
Yeah, there's nothing going on. And we're also going to be talking to Shelley Sparks, exploring the world of feng shui. Do you know a lot about feng shui?
I do. I know a lot about it.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we don't need Shelley.
No, we do. I just wanted to validate that, I'm doing everything the right way.
All right, perfect. So it's going to be a good show. We also have, leading into our Hot Off the Net segment, it's been renamed. What are we calling it?
Well, this is Nelson's brilliant idea. It's no longer Hot Off the Net. It's now called Street Noise.
Yeah, like that. Who's it brought to us by? I'm just going to
Thanks
prompt
for
you all the way
reminding me.
along. Yeah.
This next segment is brought to you by First Centennial Mortgage, providing market-leading interest rates guaranteed. Dino and Nelson helping our audience better understand all the opinions, market trends, and market focus. For more information on that, text the word REFI to 313131. Text the word REFI 313131.
That doesn't sound red at all. That's really good. Yeah, exactly. Hey, listen to this. We got to mention this in terms of international headlines making news around the world. The Olympics that have kicked off. Unbelievable broadcast. That's the opening ceremonies. I've gone to 2 opening ceremonies, and I have to tell you, they are unbelievable. It is one of the most vibrant life experiences that you can have, watching our world come together, and the presentation of the athletes, the presentation of the heads of state, the presentation of the dignitaries that come there. It's just a phenomenal experience.
I didn't see this one. Was it spectacular or
unbelievable? Get this. Here's a couple of numbers that you probably didn't realize. Leading up to opening ceremonies, there was 157 cast rehearsals. The individuals, the cast members, almost 13,000 strong. There's costumes, 23,000 costumes, and you probably were interested about this. 24,570 buttons that it took to sew onto these costumes. Where do you think I got that?
I just
staggered you,
love
right?
the fact that you find the most staggering news in town.
Yeah. So the London 2012 ceremonies, it's entitled Green and Pleasant.
When was the opening ceremonies?
Friday.
Okay. You know why I didn't see it?
No.
Because the rates are so low, all I'm doing is working.
Yeah, I know it.
My goodness.
And I'm certain attendance is down as the world is tracking interest rates right now. So it's unbelievable. So here's the scoop. LA Times, pending home sales.
Hey, real estate news.
Yes,
All right.
This is real
Listen
estate
up,
news,
everybody.
Street noise. Pending home sales in California. What do you think they did? Go up or down?
I'm going to guess they went down.
They did in the month of
At least that's what the sheet tells me here.
In the month of June, pending home sales fell 3.8% from the previous month, and it's just a question mark, an anomaly, or is that maybe the market reversing itself?
Well,
pending home sales.
Let me ask you, how do you feel? I mean, what does that say to you? Is it better or worse for the
My
market?
guess is it's a derivative of the lack of inventory, not the thirst for new home purchases and resale purchases.
Okay, so how about my question then? Is it better or worse? What does that mean?
Well, I think that the headline makes it splashy as if the market may be turning around or on a false recovery, but I don't buy into it. I still hear people talking about, multiple offers, people lining up for properties, the lack of inventory to make offers on. And so I think that's the storyline, not that home sales or the thirst for home sales is slowing down.
Yeah, because I think the market is red hot right now. Obviously, depends on the price range and the location, but for the most part, pretty much everywhere in Southern California, the market is red hot. There are multiple offers. Every single agent I've talked to and buyer, they're having a heck of a time getting a home.
And they're pushing prices up. And this is something that was really interesting. Home prices in LA have risen after 6 years of depreciation. And so that, again, under the category that the numbers don't lie, the lack of properties that are available to purchase, people are overbidding.
Yep.
And they're pushing prices up.
I just had one in Long Beach, and it basically was a bidding war. Went for $40,000 above the last comp. So obviously a good sign in my opinion there. And now we're just having a problem comping it out, but it's a good sign. Thank you for listening to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We can be reached every weekend afternoon at 888-814-3335 or text the word refi to 313131. It's text the word refi to 313131. This next segment is brought to you by First Centennial Mortgage, leading market leaders in interest rates guaranteed.
Market leading interest rates guaranteed. I love that guaranteed part too, because interest rates, they have to be protected. And I don't see the signals that rates are going to be rising. And you're going to question why I brought this storyline in. But in the international news, huge engineering firm out of Germany, and they're seeing a decline in activity, a decline in sales. Last quarter, it shrank from $21.5 billion in sales last quarter down to $17 billion. But the reason I latched onto that is that it tells the story that there's still economic woes in the European communities. And what's that going to do here in the U.S.? It's going to keep interest rates at the levels that we see. I don't think interest rates are going to rise.
I don't believe they're going to rise for another couple of years. The question is going to be within a half point radius. I mean, range, I should say. They're still going to be low even if they go up a half point. But a half point, there's the refi market's over if they're at
so 4%. The refinances go away, but the purchase market is still going to feed off of these interest rates. So you go from 3.25% to 3.75%. It's still in that unbelievable money, in that cost of money category. It's still free money, in my opinion. So I think as we see these headlines come out of Europe where there's still concerns, that fear that's racing across the European communities is going to drive money into the place in the U.S. where it's going to drive interest rates either further down or at their holding at their current levels. So bad news means good news here in the real estate market. Home values have bottomed out, and here's what Zillow is telling us. Zillow is seen, just like we talked about in the L.A. market, on a national basis, home values are rising, and so they're going up. It's up nationally 2.7%. From last month, and so it's just another indicator that the market's improving. Dino's sitting here getting his picture taken. I'm broadcasting. It's a lot of fun.
I'm just laughing at you.
Yeah, no, this is fun.
I want to know what else you got.
All right.
What else you got?
What do you think is the hottest market in Southern California?
Well, I'm going to go with Rancho Santa Margarita.
Yeah, good one. Rancho Santa Margarita is having an average listing time of 2 weeks on market. They can't get the property on market quick enough. 2 weeks from initial listing to when the property is going into escrow. And countywide, Orange County is now shrunk down to less than a month and a half total marketing time before properties are going into market. And it wasn't just less than 6 months ago that we saw extended marketing times and concerns on how long it took properties to actually come to market and be sold. Less than 2 weeks in Rancho.
I wonder how old these stats are, though. Because just last week I was talking to a top agent, and he was like 5 days, and we only keep it on the market that long just so we can get more offers.
And it could be a derivative of that, especially with properties that are getting multiple offers. We've heard examples of 15, 20 offers coming in on properties. All right, so to close out this segment, Chicago Tribune is posting, guess what? Mortgage rates and records continue to fall.
Really?
And their
rates have fallen?
Yeah, I know it.
All-time low?
It's just the same storyline week after week. Now 30-year fixed rates are below the 3.5% mark on national average. 15-year fixed rates are dropping. They're heading towards the mid-twos, and it's still in that who would have thunk category.
Yep. In fact, just last week, 15-year fixed, 2.875%. I locked a client in.
15-year fixed rate, 2.875. Yeah, that's
amazing.
Good.
I mean, just ridiculous rates.
What was that client's name?
I can't tell you that.
I know it, because I would have gotten him 2.75, but that's all right.
I'm not going to talk about the testimonials you have, okay? Because we want people to call us.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and if you are interested in refinance, call Dino or Nelson at the Dino and Nelson Show at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335. Once again, this is the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We'll be right back after this commercial.
You want to invest in today's real estate market and take advantage of the low values, but the property needs work. What do? Polaris Equity Group provides an answer with its market-exclusive 100% rehab program. The Polaris loan covers the purchase price, down payment, rehab budget, 6 months of interest, and lender's costs, all in exchange for a profit split between you and us. Call Polaris Equity Group to hear more about it. 949-727-4333. That's 949-727-4333. Take advantage of their exclusive 100% rehab program. 949-727-4333. Or find us online at polarisequitygroup.com.
Are you frustrated with what sounds like all mortgage radio? Record low rates, rates may not be here for long, the biggest brain freeze in the history of mankind, call cash cow now, blah, blah, blah. Call First Centennial Mortgage and speak to Dino and Nelson direct. Guess what? We answer the phone. Market-leading rates that are guaranteed and our close-on-time guarantee. This week's rates plunged again. Our 30-year fixed rates are priced in the mid-threes for conforming loan amounts up to $625,000, and in the remarkable category of jumbo financing, up to $2 million, rates below 4%. Truly exceptional opportunities, guaranteed.
Market-leading rates brought to you by Dino and Nelson from First Centennial Mortgage. They're not a call center. Call today and deal with Dino or Nelson direct at 888-814-3335. 888-814-3335. First Centennial Mortgage. Market-leading rates, guaranteed. Call 888-814-3335 or text the word REFI to 313131. First Centennial Mortgage. NMLS number 132763. All rates subject to change without notice.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and finally, a reputable legal firm. CDA Law Center, a nationally recognized nonprofit homeowner advocate, one of the most trusted firms in the country for helping consumers with their loan modification process. CDA's attorneys have decades of combined experience guiding their clients through the very complex and choppy waters of loan modification. Call 877-499-4435. 877-499-4435. Finally, honest and ethical advice to gain real results. Call CDA Law Center at 877-499-4435 or online at cdalawcenter.com.
Ever been frustrated during a real estate transaction, wondering just when you'll receive that phone call or status about your title insurance or escrow? With Title 365, consumers like you gain unprecedented access to the status of their title insurance and escrow transactions in real time. Title 365 was created with all the benefits you'd expect, so it's never been easier to download your documents, see what's outstanding, post a question, or connect with all parties online. Ask your realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 today, or visit Title365.com.
Welcome back to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335 or at dinoandnelson.com. This next segment, we're bringing on Patricia Beltran from My Real Estate Plaza. And this next segment is brought to you by Title 365, providing instant access and live status to your real estate transactions.
This is really innovative what Title 365 is doing. They're taking their web platform and bringing the real estate transactions so people don't need to call somebody to talk to somebody to talk to somebody on the status of how their transaction's progressing. Everything's live. They can go in and see exact status. They can review documents. It's really revolutionary. I mean, it's a fabulous platform.
No, I get that. I mean, when you're dealing with, I guess, subpar loan officers, and they don't return phone calls to the clients and all that. You'd attest to this story, right? Because everybody's calling, you just don't pick up the phone. So you're expecting something like Title 365 to solve all your problems so the clients don't have to call you, right?
This is where they turn your mic off. Yeah, this is good stuff. So it's a common problem, especially with the pandemonium. We were talking about before the show how our industry, the mortgage industry at large, is used to accommodating a vibrant purchase market, and it's used to accommodating a refinance cycle. But right now we have both going on and just running huge volumes of business activity. And so information and just the progress of how your transaction is going, it's getting difficult for people.
No, you're absolutely right. In last refi boom, I remember the mortgage industry was so far behind in the technology section of it.
Right.
We were faxing locks in. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thing. And then we had to save our little fax copy to make sure it got in before 3 p.m. because the bank on the other end was losing them all because they couldn't keep up with anything.
And that doesn't date how old you are, do you know? Hey, do you know we have Patricia Beltran on right here with us?
How you doing, Patricia?
There we go.
I'm doing wonderful.
Are you excited about this?
Yeah, I am. First time.
You know, it's interesting. We're looking at the market stats in your area. You're in the Granada Hills area predominantly, correct?
Right.
And the market is on fire, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Multiple offers on every listing, whether it's a short sale, an REO, or a standard sale. Multiple offers, anywhere from 6 to 30.
Do people 6 to 30? That's
Yes.
incredible. Do people ask you how to compete with multiple offers? I mean, that would seem like it's a question that's coming up across the board and saying, "Listen, I'm well qualified, but how do I stand out against 30 other offers, or how do I stand out with cash offers?"
Well, it really it depends on the agent. The more experienced, the more well prepared that the agent is, the more likelihood that your offer is going to get accepted. Because you can have a fabulous offer where it's very strong, but it's not coming across from the agent how strong it is, then they're going to pick another offer.
Sure. And this is what the sellers want, Dino, is if they're going to get into escrow, they simply want an assurance that the transaction is going to close on time.
Strong offer.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100% because there's so many agents that they're not powerful agents. They're not business people.
Right.
And anybody can make an offer, right? You just fill out the forms and it's done. But when you have more than 2 offers, you got to become the best offer. And sometimes it's not just the offer price, right? It's the whole
not
thing.
at all. That's just minimal, actually, the price. You have to put a full complete package together. Complete package meaning tell the seller what your buyer's about. Explain why they're coming in with 3.5% or 20%. Tell them why they love the area. Tell them how much they're going to take care of their home for them.
Paint a story.
I was just asking that. I was just wondering
package.
that, while you're talking about that, in terms of how much of just the family's personal information that you share, and you know that it's a husband and wife, a mom and dad that want to raise their kids in this home. Does that influence the seller?
I believe it does. I believe it has a huge impact. I've had not only once but several transactions where I was competing against 30 other offers and my offer was chosen. Now, it could have been for any reason, that I was on the phone making sure that the listing agent received my offer, or just that every form was signed where it's supposed to be signed, and you cross all your T's and dot your I's, and it's all a whole package together.
Well, and not, I think you're cutting yourself short. There's many times in my experience where, again, multiple offers, when an offer is accepted, many times it's because the listing agent knows you, is comfortable with you, and knows that you don't play in the arena of throwing stuff against the wall.
Right.
If you're going to make an offer, it's the real deal, and you're only working with real buyers, and that deal is going to close.
And meaning that you're dealing with a professional.
Yeah.
And example, if I have a listing and I know the agent that's making the offer, and I know he's a professional or she's a professional, most definitely, even if that offer is a little bit lower than what other offers are offering, you tend to go there because of the professionalism of the other person.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Are you finding, we're hearing stories across the Southland of low inventories. I looked on, I'm hoping my research is correct, but that there's 512 homes in the Granada Hills area currently on the market. Do you have inventory to sell, or is it difficult?
It's difficult, and I'm an agent that gets my offers accepted, and I brag about that. But it is difficult at the moment. We have a listing. If you have a listing today, you're for sure going to have 5 offers by this evening, 8, 9 o'clock, that quickly. Right.
And mostly above market? Or not above market, but above asking.
Above asking. And in that, you have to be careful because appraisers, they want to see the comparables. So you can have a house that's listed for $400,000. You can't come in because you want it real bad and offer $475 because you want it, because it probably won't appraise.
Just in case you jumped into your car, you're listening to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk, AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335, 888-814-3335, or text the word REFI to 313131.
So Patricia, let me ask you this. In your marketplace, the demographic, there's a significant influence of the Hispanic community, and you're supporting the Hispanic community in your marketplace.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you do that?
Well, advertising in obviously in Spanish, having bilingual agents, having a bilingual broker, many ways. You must be educated and up to speed with all the rules, regulations, guidelines in both English and Spanish, so that you can translate to the Hispanic community.
We talk about this with the disclosures that are on the mortgage side, on the finance side, and for anyone that's absolutely fluent as a first language in English, the forms are difficult to follow. And we obviously publish all of our forms in Spanish as well, but does that present even another layer of confusion when you're having to translate?
A little bit, but you just have to, as an agent, just have to sit down and read them, and so you know what you're translating to the client, whether in English or Spanish. A lot of times in English, I have a client and I'll just read the whatever the form is about, and they speak English, they read English, we just do it automatically. Same with our Spanish-speaking clients. We show them the form, they are not going to sit there and read it. We just kind of tell them briefly what the form is, what they're signing, what they're getting into, the legalities of it, and that's it.
I think the practice is so much changing, because for a while there, and I'm hoping that our entire industry is morphing with this change. But we've seen in years past that there was not the focus on the documents that were being signed. It was sign here, sign here, sign here. You're going to get the home. When you get the home, it's going to double in value. And there was almost this Las Vegas kind of hype to it in terms of anyone getting into the marketplace is going to make money. And now we certainly see this on the mortgage side. I'm certain you face this on the real estate side, where people are stopping, and this is what you're getting yourself into, and there are disclosures on understanding that.
I think there's so much advertising on television, the news, and it's made everybody, all the buyers and sellers, aware of always read something before you sign it. So it's made a lot of people aware. You don't really get those that just sign here and that's it. Let's move on. You're going to get the home of your dreams. They ask questions. I'm talking your average Hispanic buyer or seller. They ask a lot of questions nowadays.
Even seasoned buyers, ones that have purchased homes before, or are you just finding that for first-time home buyers?
No, you find with both.
Both.
Well, Patricia, this happened with our first home. Why is it not happening with this home? Why are things being done this way? So they're asking a lot.
And I think that's restoring health to the marketplace. I mean, it's just a situation where we encourage our customers to do ask these questions and understand what the process is and what they're exposed to, so that we don't have a situation like we saw come out of the late 2000s where our economic world on the real estate side exploded.
Absolutely. It's no secret. I don't exactly agree with all of our disclosures just because I think it's too much, but I am happy in the direction that we've gone, because it's restoring professionalism to our industry, both on the mortgage side and the real estate side. We're here with Patricia Beltran and Jorge Campos from My Real Estate Plaza. Brought to you by Title 365, providing instant access and live status to your real estate transactions. Call Dino and Nelson at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335, or at thedinoandnelsonshow.com. We'll be right back.
In a chaotic real estate market, you want peace of mind when it comes to the home you're purchasing. Roadrunner Exterminating, a family-owned and operated company providing structural repairs, local treatments, and fumigation. Roadrunner Exterminating is a licensed, bonded, and insured expert in termite, pest control, and general contracting. For fast and efficient service, Plus the peace of mind of knowing the condition of your new home. Call Roadrunner Exterminating at 866-398-BUGS. That's 866-398-BUGS. Or on the web at roadrunnerexterminating.com. As always, mention the Dino and Nelson Show and get a free home inspection. 866-398-BUGS or roadrunnerexterminating.com. General Contractor License 922404. Nominal fee for escrow inspections.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and I want to tell you about one of our show partners, Efficient Services Escrow. As the name implies, Efficient Services Escrow provides lenders, realtors, home buyers, and sellers with fast, efficient, but most importantly, worry-free specialty escrow services. Dino and I know firsthand that real estate transactions can be complex and layered with areas of exposure for details to be handled incorrectly. The number one reason we work with Efficient Services Escrow is their seasoned veterans are reliable, proactive, and best of all, provide us worry-free escrow services. With any real estate sale, purchase, or refinance, call our trusted friends at Efficient Services Escrow, 949-208-9600. That's 949-208-9600, and let them know that Dino and Nelson sent you. Efficient Services Escrow at 949-208-9600 or online at efficientescrow.com.
What do you do when your bank simply says no to your real estate purchase? Polaris Equity Group provides an answer. Yes. Our flexible purchase and bridge loan programs are the direct result of our involvement in more than 3,000 transactions of varying size and complexity. Since 1991, Polaris has completed over $500 million in real estate investment transactions using both debt and equity solutions. When the bank says no, call Polaris Equity Group to hear yes. 949-727-4333. That's 949-727-4333. Logical decisions to execute a timely close. 949-727-4333. Or find us online at polarisequitygroup.com.
Are you frustrated with what sounds like all mortgage radio? Record low rates, rates may not be here for long, the biggest brain freeze in the history of mankind, call Cash Cow now, blah, blah, blah. Call First Centennial Mortgage and speak to Dino and Nelson direct. Guess what? We answer the phone. Market-leading rates that are guaranteed and our close-on-time guarantee. This week's rates plunged again. Our 30-year fixed rates are priced in the mid-threes for conforming loan amounts up to $625,000, and in the remarkable category of jumbo financing, up to $2 million, rates below 4%. Truly exceptional opportunities, guaranteed.
Market-leading rates brought to you by Dino and Nelson from First Centennial Mortgage. They're not a call center. Call today and deal with Dino or Nelson direct at 888-814-3335. 888-814-3335. First Centennial Mortgage. Market-leading rates, guaranteed. Call 888-814-3335 or text the word REFI to 313131. First Centennial Mortgage. NMLS number 132763. All rates subject to change without notice. Ever been frustrated during a real estate transaction, wondering just when you'll receive that phone call or status about your title insurance or escrow? With Title 365, consumers like you gain unprecedented access to the status of their title insurance and escrow transactions in real time. Title 365 was created with all the benefits you'd expect, so it's never been easier to download your documents, see what's outstanding, post a question, or connect with all parties online. Ask your realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 today, or visit Title365.com.
The Dino and Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Dino and Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Welcome back. We're here with Patricia Beltran from My Real Estate Plaza, brought to you by CDA Law Center, providing ethical and accurate counsel for loan modifications. For more information about loan modifications, text the word MOD, M-O-D, to 313131. That's text the word MOD, M-O-D, to 313131, or call Dino and Nelson at 888-814-3335.
Patricia, I'm going to hit you with a question I didn't prepare you for. I wanted the world of modifications, loan modifications. I mean, there's so many people that are trying to get out from higher interest rates and into better terms that they can afford based on how things have changed. In your marketplace, in Granada Hills, are you getting those kinds of questions frequently?
Modifications, my experience is that people want to do a modification either for lack of employment or loss of employment or loss of hours. And from my experience, there really isn't a lot of modifications from the bank's perspective going on.
And so there's a lot of people that need that, but simply aren't getting them.
Exactly. So they have a couple of choices: no loan modification, stop paying, go to foreclosure, do a short sale, or just try to make that payment regardless of how it's being made.
Boy, all of those just sound like excellent choices.
Dina, you know what, Dina, though, this is something that we talk about with our show sponsor, CDA Law Center, and the majority of the people that are contacting them for loan modifications, they're vetted out in terms of they're simply not eligible. So you don't have the consumer that's chasing after rainbows with no chance of seeing their terms modified, and then just focusing on those people that are truly eligible under the HAMP program.
True. And they do happen, though, you guys. It's worth trying. I'll give you an exact testimonial here. Is my sister and her husband. They just got one done. It probably took about 3 to 4 months, I'd say, but they got a 27-year fixed. The first year is going to be at 2%. The year 2 and 3 is going to be at 3%, and then it's going to go to 4.5%, I believe, for the remainder of the years. Pretty great loan modification, yeah.
And allows somebody to have that financial relief to where they can get one nostril above the waterline and go, okay, great. I'm retooled, ready to go and rebuild my finances so I can keep my home.
Yeah, for sure. And it is worth it. If you have any questions on that, text the word MOD, M-O-D, to 313131.
So let me ask you, in your marketplace, you have obviously all three segments represented, but do you see a lot more traditional sales versus foreclosures or short sales, or is it a even mix? What do you find?
No, I see a lot of more traditional sales, which is wonderful. You have the actual seller, the human person, deciding, negotiating, not the bank or an REO
negotiator.
Yeah.
Sure makes things a lot easier.
A lot easier, but definitely more traditional sales.
And what about the foreclosures? Are you finding those on the decline, or are they still on the rise?
I believe they're on the decline. Yeah, decline, and you're having more short sales now. It's standard sales, short sales, and bank-owned properties.
We have later in the show a Stump Dino segment, and there's a question that came up from one of our listeners, but I wanted to ask you about this, get your insights. You have somebody that wants to sell their home. They've maintained it. It's a very nice home. It's kept up. It's improved. But next to it on either side, you have homes that are two dogs with fleas that have just, maybe one's being foreclosed on, one is lying vacant. What do you do in that circumstance where the neighborhood is compromised, but the home itself is fantastic?
Well, you just... you just have to get your marketing skills, of the best that you can, and
I'll tell you what you do.
Sell it. Your marketing skills.
You tell the people that the beauty of having homes like this across from you or next to you is that some investor's going to come in, buy them, pour a bunch of money into them, and make them look beautiful again.
Yeah. And there will be improvement in the neighborhood. In my own neighborhood, when the marketplace was first starting to turn down and we're seeing examples of homes that were going vacant and the lawns growing up, and I used to walk my lawnmower down the street and mow the ding-dang lawns just so the neighborhood looked good.
The what lawns?
The ding-dang lawns. What do you call it? Yeah, I was out there with the mower. I just thought it was a nice thing to do.
Well, I'm sure the bank thanked you.
Yeah, no, I didn't get a check in the mail. So... with the short sales, you obviously represent short sales as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that process speeding up? Because I get so frustrated on the finance side where we pre-approve somebody for a short sale, and it seems to be in this hurry up and wait space where you submit the offer and then you're hoping to hear something by Christmas.
Yeah. No, they're improving a whole lot. They're improving. I know my first short sale, it took a year and a half.
Oh, jeez.
Now let's see. I've done one in 3 months, which is it's. I think it's normal now.
It's a reasonable time.
It's a reasonable amount of time. Sure, a normal transaction is 45 to 60 days. So you figure short sale where you have two banks involved for the most part, and you have to get everybody on track. So 3 months is not bad. So it is getting a lot better.
Patricia from My Real Estate Plaza. If you'd like to speak to Patricia, go ahead and call us at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335. Or look on dinoandnelson.com and you'll have all her contact information. She'll be glad to help you out. Patricia, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome.
Thank you,
for
Patricia.
inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you. Patricia, again, thank you for all the great comments. We do have somebody new here, though, that we'd like to introduce. Shelley Sparks, feng shui expert and author of Secrets of the Land. This next segment is brought to you by CDA Law Center, providing ethical and accurate counsel for loan modifications. For more information about loan modifications, text the word MOD, M-O-D, to 313131, or call Dino and Nelson at 888-814-3335.
So, Dino, I don't know if you have a depth of experience with feng shui. I don't. And, Shelley, I'm excited to have you on the program so we can just learn a little bit more. And you've published your book. It's called The Secrets of the Land. And your focus in this book, at least, is on the exterior of the home with some influence on the interior.
Yes.
But paying attention to all of those elements of feng shui. And there was this one chapter heading, and I just have to ask you about it. It says, The Trail of Chi. Do you think you have a brown thumb? And clearly I do. When I look at my garden, I can kill plants faster than I can plant them.
Well, then you have to get somebody to take care of those plants.
Yeah, that's what I need as a gardener.
That's the alternative.
Yeah, well, that's so. Talk to us a little bit just on the broad brush of feng shui and what that really is.
And is it feng shui or is it feng shui or what is it?
You know, different people pronounce it differently. So some people call it feng shui and some people call it feng shui, but it's feng shui, and the literal translation of it is wind and water. And so the idea of that is that wind and water move really freely. Where wind or water get stuck, then things become very stagnant. And just like that, if the energy on a property or a home or the energy in a home becomes stuck, then things stagnate. So usually for homes, when real estate agents call me in, they call me in to when a home isn't selling. And just after hearing the last segment, it sounds like I'm going to be out of work for a while. Not really, but people actually also call me in when they buy a home and they want the home to have better energy, or they have certain dreams or desires that they want to fulfill in a particular home, and I help them adjust the home.
I wish you had an influence on wardrobe, because then you could help Dino. Clearly, his wardrobe's stuck and stagnant, huh?
Yeah. I'm not even going to comment, you guys. If you want, you can get on the website and take a look at some of the dress attire of Mr. Nelson.
So,
or please email me, and I will email you some other photos that I wasn't allowed to put on.
So when you're called in, Shelley, and home's not selling, and you, what are the steps that you take? I mean, how can you influence that?
Well, first of all, I evaluate to see what's wrong, and one of the things that I look at initially is who lived in the home and what happened to them. So one of the things, oftentimes energy gets stuck in a particular segment. So sometimes when a person had bankruptcy or somebody died in a home or something like that, then we find that the home is not selling. That's, maybe the energy needs to be shifted in that particular case. So in that case, I would come in and do some special ceremonies or things like that to help. And that gets into the little bit beyond the what seems comparable to most people,
sure.
Comprehensible to most people. But
it's funny though, because I wouldn't say that I have an acute awareness of really anything, but However, I have been in homes where I've been touring through it with my wife, and she'll get a vibe on, gosh, you know what? I don't like this. Let's just get out of here. And I've had that same sense of, you know what? It just doesn't feel right. But I can never explain it.
Right. I think most real estate agents that I know go into homes, and they can feel the difference. Even if a home, has all the looks, it's staged well, so on and so forth, but for some reason it just doesn't feel right when you walk in. And likewise, you could walk into a house that is kind of ordinary, but there's something about it that feels really good. So you're actually experiencing the feng shui of the space.
Yeah, in Nelson's case, though, when you walk in and you see pictures of him without his shirt on the beach, I just don't know. No offense, but no matter how good you are, I can't imagine you creating a better energy.
Oh, I'm wind and water. I flow.
Hey, we'll be right back. We got to go to commercials, but you're listening to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We can be reached at 888-814-3335 or at dinoandnelson.com. We'll be right back.
This is Nelson from the Dino and Nelson Show, and I want to tell you about one of our show partners, Efficient Services Escrow. As the name implies, Efficient Services Escrow provides lenders, realtors, home buyers, and sellers with fast, efficient, but most importantly, worry-free specialty escrow services. Dino and I know firsthand that real estate transactions can be complex and layered with areas of exposure for details to be handled incorrectly. The number one reason we work with Efficient Services Escrow is their seasoned veterans are reliable, proactive, and best of all, provide us worry-free escrow services. With any real estate sale, purchase, or refinance, call our trusted friends at Efficient Services Escrow, 949-208-9600. That's 949-208-9600, and let them know that Dino and Nelson sent you. Efficient Services Escrow at 949-208-9600 or online at efficientescrow.com.
What do you do when your bank simply says no to your real estate purchase? Polaris Equity Group provides an answer. Yes. Our flexible purchase and bridge loan programs are the direct result of our involvement in more than 3,000 transactions of varying size and complexity. Since 1991, Polaris has completed over $500 million in real estate investment transactions using both debt and equity solutions. When the bank says no, call Polaris Equity Group to hear yes. 949-727-4333. That's 949-727-4333. Logical decisions to execute a timely close. 949-727-4333. Or find us online at polarisequitygroup.com.
In a chaotic real estate market, you want peace of mind when it comes to the home you're purchasing. Roadrunner Exterminating, a family-owned and operated company providing structural repairs, local treatments, and fumigation. Roadrunner Exterminating is a licensed, bonded, and insured expert in termite, pest control, and general contracting. For fast and efficient service, plus the peace of mind of knowing the condition of your new home, call Roadrunner Exterminating at 866-398-BUGS. That's 866-398-BUGS. Or on the web at roadrunnerexterminating.com. As always, mention the Dino and Nelson Show and get a free home inspection. 866-398-BUGS or roadrunnerexterminating.com. General Contractor License 922404. Nominal fee for escrow inspections.
The Dino and Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Dino and Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Ever been frustrated during a real estate transaction, wondering just when you'll receive that phone call or status about your title insurance or escrow? With Title 365, consumers like you gain unprecedented access to the status of their title insurance and escrow transactions in real time. Title 365 was created with all the benefits you'd expect, so it's never been easier to download your documents, see what's outstanding, post a question, or connect with all parties online. Ask your realtor, lender, or escrow officer about Title 365 today, or visit Title365.com.
Welcome back to the Dino and Nelson Show. This next segment is brought to you by Best Chauffeured, worry-free and on-time limousine transportation worldwide. Text the word limo to 313131. That's text the word limo to 313131. We're back with Shelley Sparks, feng shui author. Hey, Shelley, I have a question because I've heard it so many different times where when you're looking for a home and you go through that front door, and if you see the stairway coming down to the front door, not just to the side a little bit, but it has to be right in center.
Yes.
Does that mean that you can't hold on to your money, that money's just going to be flowing out of your door?
Well, that's a very common thing where money can leave the house. But with feng shui, if you were to call a feng shui person in and they couldn't fix it, then what good are we?
So you can say there could be problems, but there's solutions.
Right. To every problem, there's a solution. There's always ways to adjust energy
a
to
plant,
help.
for example,
right.
Or some water.
Right, or crystals or mirrors or things that can help to shift the energy.
In my office years ago, I had a client come in, and she knew, I guess, much about feng shui. So she gave me some tips and said, where your desk is positioned isn't bad, but there is this one beam over there, and it's a direct, I guess, just weight over you. Another thing she said is having a plant, something live, because I had some fake plants in there. Bring in something live. She said that'll increase the energy and stuff like. But then the other thing she said is, get something that signifies money to you. It could be anything. And stick it in this corner of your desk. And
yes.
that will bring energy of more money.
Photo of me.
So I went and got a little it's a glass piggy bank that I saw with a bunch of gold chocolate coins in there. And I was that's money.
Yeah, there it is. In my book, it describes the different areas that you can look at, and there's diagrams, there's ways to determine where these different areas are. But basically, if you're standing and looking at a property, the far left corner is your money corner. If a property isn't selling, there are certain areas that I really pay attention to. But primarily, the first thing I look at is the front entry. I want to make sure that front entry is clear of clutter, that there's not things that impede your progress from the street to the front door. Because anything that is in the way of you, if it's overgrown, if there's plants or things like that, or
is it formulaic? Is there an exact formula for this, or is it? Because I get the impression sometimes that it's feeling based.
Well, some of it is feeling based, but there are very strong rules about things as well. So it's kind of. The Chinese would say it's both yin and yang. So it's both what you can see and touch and feel, and it's also feelings.
So are some homes simply hopeless? If you have you walk into the front door, it's cluttered with boxes, the stairway's coming directly down at you, and there's a chalk line of a body. What do you do?
I love that.
Straight face too. Look at him.
There's nothing that's hopeless. There's some that are much harder. I've worked with real estate agents where particularly where people have died in the houses or things like that, where it just takes a little more work to get the energy of the land and the house back, so it may take a little longer to get that going and sold.
When you're brought in, is it to be specific about love or money or health, or is it just give me an overall, I want a balanced life?
Most people do not call me in just for a balanced life. Most people call me in for for money or for love or for good luck, or they've heard they've had friends that have used me and they can't believe the changes that have happened, and so on and so forth.
But it spills into more lifestyle issues.
Yes.
When I read your book and I was researching the topic, because I was naive in the whole influence of feng shui, and there was an article that was drafted about, can feng shui help with health tips, with losing weight?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's I have a friend that has compiled a whole over 500-page packet on health, just on things that you can do for different health issues. So it can get into an extreme depth on that kind of thing.
Now, there's I was told too, because so many people think, oh, you need to put a mirror here or a flower there, but a lot of it also has to do is how old you are, what year the house was built, which way it's facing, right?
Yeah. I'm really glad that you brought that up, because there's different schools of feng shui. So some schools require and use things like a compass, a very special compass, and some schools don't. So it's really there's different schools and different approaches. And basically, my feeling about it is that wherever you find yourself, you're with the right place. You're with the right person that's going to help you.
So what do you think Dino's school is, where he has a mirror right in front of where he sits at his desk?
I think that's great.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'll take it.
A lot of self-reflection.
I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I want to beg you to, on my dime, to come to the office and go walk into Nelson's office and see what you can do, anything at all, to just help him out a little bit. And I'm gonna specify I need help with for him, at least for personality, for humor.
Yeah, there you go.
And then obviously for financial wealth as well.
I'm gonna write a book on chi robber. He's a chi robber.
Shelley, thanks for coming on the show. And if you'd like to hear more information or talk to Shelley, just go on to dinoandnelson.com or call us at 888-814-3335. That's 888-814-3335. That's
really insightful, Shelley. Thank you. We're going to move into the Stump Dino segment. We've had some of our callers respond with some questions. One we asked earlier about what to do with properties that are around yours. You may have the Taj Mahal and the properties around you are not, and some steps to take there. But let me ask you this question. This was out of Cyprus earlier. I'm being told my debt-to-income qualifying ratios, this is qualifying for a new loan, are too high because I'm writing off employee business expenses. The question is, it's a tax write-off. Why does that matter? That's a fair question. I mean, they're just trying to save on their tax money.
It is a fair question. And at the end of the day, you can choose to either, I don't want to say cheat the IRS, but you can either choose to write it off and save money over there and obviously show less income, which is going to affect how you qualify. That's just
so these views don't necessarily represent the Nelson segment of our show.
You know, there's certain things we can add back in, and this is actually it's a good question, because if you are self-employed, especially, right, there's so many extra things you write off. It's very important, if you're going to be buying a house, to get with a true professional and go over your tax returns and your financials so you can get things set up the right way, because there's a lot of things you can do, right, if you're going to prepare for 3 to 6 months from now.
So, Dino, we got to ask this question, because this has been a huge influence across the country, not just the Southland, but with bankruptcies. And we have Bill Bergschneider from USA National Title to help us out with this. Bill, there seems to be a misunderstanding when it comes to liens and judgments that are attached to someone selling their property. And the question is are they all washed off of title when there's a bankruptcy filed?
Okay. This question comes up often. Sellers come under the misperception that they file bankruptcy, they get discharged as a debt, and they're okay to go ahead and sell their house. And whether it's they don't tell their bankruptcy attorney that they're selling a house, they're involved in a real estate transaction, or there's just confusion. The problem is, even though the debt is discharged, even though they've gone through bankruptcy, even if they've closed their bankruptcy, the debt still attaches to the real property. The only way to remove that debt is to get something called an order avoiding lien from the bankruptcy court. It's a more lengthy process than the typical bankruptcy. It's a specific order removing that lien from that specific piece of real property. So if the debtor is in title at the time the lien attaches, in other words, the date it records, it attaches to that property almost like a tick. To remove the tick, it takes that order avoiding lien, not a closure of the bankruptcy case, and certainly not a discharge of the debt.
I wish they had that in broadcasting. Bill, let me ask you the question in terms of whose responsibility is it to remove that? Is it the agent's responsibility that's going to sell the property?
Well, the agent really can't unless the agent wants to try to practice law and go into court. It would really be the debtor, the seller, getting together with their attorney to address the court, let the court know that the property needs to be sold, that it's a dischargeable debt or a removable debt, and that there needs to be a specific order so the seller can go forward. This is happening night and day, holding up short sales more often than not right now.
Great insight, Bill. Thanks for the wise advice.
Anytime, guys.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
That's our title expert, Bill Bergschneider from USA National Title. Thanks so much, Bill. So let me squeeze in one more question out of Lakewood. I enclosed my outdoor patio without permits. It's completely professional and looks like it and lives like it's part of our home. Why is that not being included in my home value?
Without permits, you can't actually include the square footage. Not too long ago, we'll call it 6-7 years ago, just before the big crash, you could. As long as it was done in a workmanlike, fashion and it was professionally done, then we would be able to add it. Nowadays, you do need a permit. Every once in a while, you can still get it by. Just depends. Okay,
last question, and then we're going to close out. How can I determine if I qualify for the HARP program, the Homeowners Assistance Refinance Program? Some lenders say yes, some say no. I'm flat out frustrated.
And you're going to be frustrated.
Stumptino.
Yeah, you're just going to be frustrated for a while. There's no real simple answer. It appears to be, if you meet certain qualifications, it's going to be, yes, you're qualified, and then all of a sudden something else pops up. But for more information on that, just call Nelson at 888-814-3335. He actually knows a lot about the HARP program and will guide you the right way. Thank you for listening to the Dino and Nelson Show here on K-Talk AM 1150. We can be heard every weekend afternoon, and we can be reached at 888-814-3335, or check us out on the web, dinoandnelson.com.